Good evening, Speed Gaming and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. I hope everybody has brought a bucket of popcorn or some delicious snack tonight because we have a treat for y'all. This is Final Fantasy Randomizer Double Dragon Co-op Multi-World. I'm Caleb, and I'm in the booth with Jet. How are you doing tonight, Jet?
Doing very well here. We, as I've been saying in chat beforehand, and you've been explaining, have some spicy business going on. So I'm in a comfy chair. I got my water ready to go. We're going to tuck ourselves in and have ourselves a good old co-op match here tonight.
So we've seen co-op. We've had a couple tournaments of co-op. We have never had a multi-world on a restream. So multi-world with Final Fantasy Randomizer, we have... Let's break down the basics here. We have, on your left, Team D&D&D, represented by Darkmoon and DVS, racing against the former number one champions, or number one contenders, rather, in the Double Dragon Co-op Championship circuit of the Irongol, Deadpulse and Fryteeth on Team Fade to Brak. Both runners from each team, in order to win, need to kill Chaos. Right? Standard FFR co-op stuff. Both runners need to defeat Chaos. All runners are running the same flags. However, Darkmoon and Deadpulse are racing a seed that I rolled, and Davis and Fryteeth racing a seed that Jat rolled. However, Darkmoon Davis on a co-op team, Fryteeth Deadpulse on a co-op team, both hanging out in voice chats on the Discord server, both talking to each other about what they have laid out before them. But the wrinkle here is we're still sharing key items, so Darkmoon is going to have a very different experience in the entire game. It's going to get key items in different places. Magic's going to be different than his partner, but they're going to be sharing the key items. So Davis... gonna get whatever Darkmoon finds from the King and Princess, and Darkmoon's gonna get whatever Davis has. So we might have an interesting scenario where Darkmoon's Princess and King give him like canoe and bottle, and Davis gets floater and herb. So right away between that interaction, we're in the air.
Yep.
So I think that explains the nuts and bolts of this, but Jet, fill in the gaps for me, because I definitely Barney leveled that as best I could.
No, that was a perfect explanation of what we're looking at tonight, and that doesn't even touch on the flags that we're looking at tonight. We are not only doing multi-world, co-op, tag team Double Dragon Championship, we are also on entrance, floor, town shuffle, with a shard hunt. So these runners... every entrance is going to be different for them. And then when they go down a floor, they're going to be on a different floor again. So they're not only shuffling all the items around, they're also shuffling what entrances are, what floors are. Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that's not shared in co-op is shards. And both runners need to collect 32 shards in their independent seeds in order to get into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. So not only are we dealing with all that spicy stuff, and I'll try and share that in chat a few times just throughout in case anyone's joining us, but we're also dealing with entrance floor, town shuffle, shard hunt.
And another wrinkle, the fiends are shuffled. So if we find that Bridge of Destiny, we're going to get excited because that's 4 shards waiting for us, but we don't know if it's going to be Kraken. We don't know if it's going to be Tia. We could be a Lich on the other side of that Bridge of Destiny. And what it is for Davis is going to be different than Darkmoon. Potentially, we do have that chance, that 1 in 4 shot that it's going to be the same. So very quickly, our runners are getting sorted here. You can see SG help working with the cropping. We're getting this. They let us come on the air early to start breaking this down for you guys. So we'll give you the quick play-by-play of the nuts and bolts, because not only are all the things that Jat mentioned shuffled, but we got mixed spell books. We have random weapons, elite gear, caster items. We have item magic shuffled. So we could have like nuke swords available for Darkmoon, and Davis gets rub hammers. It's gonna be wild.
Respect that rub hammer. He could get a mute hammer. That would be a lot worse.
Fair.
Let's be honest here. Answering a couple questions in chat. Is it shuffled? The answer is probably yes. So is Aspel shuffled? Absolutely. Warmech is patrolling, but we may see Warmech pop up somewhere else thanks to our fantastic devs, and we'll give a shout out when that occurs.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we also are working with Randomizer, so you're going to see different party or enemy formations that you've never seen. Well, if you've played Randomizer that you've seen before, we're not generating new enemies, just different formations. So we're going to see stuff like arachnids and airs, potentially. It's going to be wild. We got spike tiles are yanked off the map, so no more spike tiles, no static grinds for us. We're only taking fights as we go. We have, you can see the free boat for everybody. You can see the free tail in the inventory. So when we find Bahamut, we're going to be able to promote. The only problem is we don't know what we're promoting into. Well, our runners know because we have a very interesting party setup. So our runners have party draft enabled, which means they're only allowed to choose from 6 classes. Now, I missed that during the setup, and I don't have the seed pulled up to know which the seed A was available, which 6 classes were available, and which 6 classes were available from seed B on the bottom. But you could have potentially see any 6 classes from all 6 of the non-promoted classes as well as their promoted counterparts. So that free tail is you might be thinking, oh great, I can just turn my fighter into a knight whenever I want. But wait, there's more. We have random promotions turned on as well as non-promoted classes. So our thieves could promote into black wizards. Our knights may promote into black belts. So lots of wild stuff going to happen. In addition to the blessings and curses, we have 4 bonuses, 2 malices. Again, we didn't grab them, but oh boy. Our runners know what they are. We're going to figure them out as we go. And then on top of that, there's so much more. You talked about some beta features. I think that'll be fun to show off if and when it happens. Our incentive locations, we have our main NPCs, our fetch quest NPCs, guaranteed to be incentive items. However, ice, ordeals, marsh cave, earth cave, volcano, sea, sky, canary locked, and marsh locked, all tri-state. It might have stuff. I don't know. We have incentive swords, Masa, Vorpal, Katana, and a ribbon. And all the other standard progression and transportation items are incentivized. So if you're wondering if these flags smell like once you've been in the randomizer community, you've done a lot of pickup races, you've raced a lot of different folks in the community. Certain flags have a certain aroma, and these flags just, if you take a big whiff, it smells like Dwight. I've raced Dwight so many times in early morning shenanigans races for Irongol, and these have Dwight's thumbprints and fingerprints all over them. And Dwight, one of the founding members of Team D&D&D, I think he was the first or the second D in that D&D&D, but unable to run tonight. He's not feeling the best. So Dark Moon, the third D of the D&D&D, jumping in to take the spot for Dwight, who, in just sort of that poetic irony, gets to craft these juicy flags. I'm sure Davis helped come up with the concept of the multi-world, and hopefully Dwight's out there watching this from home or going to check out the VOD later, but these are Dwight flags all over the place. So we're going to get the runners going here. Chat, I talked a ton. I know once we drop the gate, it's going to be chaos. So is there anything you want to jump in and share before we let Danny drop the gate on these folks?
Nah, all I want to say is, you know what? I hope these runners have fun. I hope everyone hanging out has fun. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you're brand new, you know what? It's not always like this, but if you want it to be like this, join us on the Discord. Hit us up, and I hope everyone has a good night. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Get that link to the Discord in there. You can also join the Dev Discord. You can learn about how you can find out how you can contribute. We have a bunch of new developers like making flags for us. We're going to show off one of those a little later tonight, potentially. Life Reboot crafted some fun flags, so... But here we go. We're going to get the runners going here any second now. So the gate is dropped, and man, what
the craziest thing about this, Jed, is you can't even begin to fathom like the trolley situations of the awkward routing fetch quest turn-ins, because it's two different seeds, man. And you can see right away Davis has a red mage starting on the world map. Everybody else got fighters. What's going on?
I think this is one of those, a lot of the times Final Fantasy Randomizer can be fairly strategic. You kind of have a plan ahead of the time. You look at the flags like, okay, most flags are going to play out this way. This one, it's all out the window.
Yeah.
Co-op is always about communication, and this one more than most. They're really going to have to communicate with their partner, let them know what's going on, figure out who's the best person to get various key items, when they can turn things in, and make sure that they're trying to finish at around the same time. Because keep in mind, they cannot scout. Temple of Thieves Revisited.
Dark Moon and Dead Pulse both have access to level 1 warp and exit. Ooh. Meanwhile, Davis got Nuke and Cure 4, and Fry Teeth in the weapon shop gonna hopefully fix that crop a little bit because he's blown way up. And we got Fire. So Black Magic not really working for the bottom seeds here. And not a whole lot of... We got Lightning 2. We got a Temper shirt. This is neat.
Wait, magic not really working for the bottom seeds? The bottom seeds have the most stacked white magic.
I meant black magic. If I said black magic. Sorry. And there's a Nuke shirt.
Oh boy. So if you like to cast Nuke at level 1 and not even have to use a spell charge for it, do we have the seed for you?
Yeah. It's and not super expensive either. I think it was less than $9,000. So open a couple free boxes and that might be working. And there we go. Fry Teeth talking to the hint givers. That's important. Hint givers are also turned on, and not useless hints at that. So I think it was something about the TNT is in Provoca. So I'm pretty sure that means the TNT is in the Provoca entrance, and there's Deadpool digging up a canal. So the early castle for the bottom seed got Team D&D&D the chime, and you can see Fry Teeth gets that canal from Deadpool. So Sky Canal paying out, and there's the Sky Canal for Davis. So
I did want to just point out one thing about co-op that people might not recognize, which is that something that's unique is there's kind of like a shared server between the two. And when you get an item, you pass it to there, and then once it's there forever. And the nice thing about that means that even if you die after getting the item, you can get it back as long as your partner received it. So there's a lot of interesting strategy in Entrance Floor where you can get an item and be like, well, I guess that's everything I need in here, and just like reset out. Something to keep in mind.
The Death Warp is going to be used to great effect here. And the one thing that I was missing from Dwight Flags that I was kind of expecting to see is he likes to play with the save game on game over with Dragon Warrior mode. And we found a Silver Hammer +9. That's going to be cranking some stuff out for Dark Moon as he finds dwarves and Temple of Fiends. And Davis chugging through this possibly not incentivized ordeals, and you can see right there, fire hydrants and water thematic.
Yep.
See, it's red hydras and waters. So, Randomizer.
So just a brief note on something that people might not be fully aware of is the plus-minus on that hammer. So what does it even mean? Well, that's what we call blessed armors and weapons, and they basically adjust the stats. And all you need to know is that plus is good, minus is bad, and in this particular seed, it goes from -9 to +9. So as Classic Gamer just pointed out in chat, anything +9 is pretty close to endgame. It gets a ridiculous
27 extra crit?
Yeah, crit rate. 27 extra crit rate. So 13% extra crit, 18 extra damage. It's just like, it would be a good weapon by itself, never mind the base stats.
I would love to see Dark Moon swing that as we find Dragon -6. And Deadpools finds the 3-eye tile for Seed A. So that's pretty really good. And already up to level 10. Oh no, that wasn't an eye tile. That was just a 3-eye fight because Randomizer. We don't have spike tiles. Right. So Fry Teeth finds the C-split. I missed which entrances this is. We're working with SpeedGaming to get that cropping fixed because it's a little blown out right now, but we're going to get that straightened out. But C-Split is right side Tiamat, left side Northwest, and bottom seeds are Espers, top seeds are Shards. That's fun.
So what do you mean top seeds are Espers and Shards?
So we have Shard Hunt, right? So Shard Hunt, there's any number of different names that those shards can be called. Sometimes they're just called shards, like in Seed A with Dark Moon and Dead Pulse are racing. Or I'm sorry, they're pieces. Excuse me, I misspoke. They're pieces in Seed A and they're Espers in Seed B. And Seed B is what Davis and Fryteeth are running. So the multi-world, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun. And there's level 2 magic. X for Mute. That's fun.
Yeah, the bottom seed though has such good. Oh wow, okay, those are some really important spells as well. They have such good spells at level 1 already. And these level 2 spells actually continue to deliver Lightning 3 and Fast. I want to point out as well that DVS didn't bring a Black Mage, and he's not getting punished whatsoever, as all the good magic has been in White Magic. So this has been a really good start for his party.
It's a heads-up play with bringing the Red Mage. And granted, we don't know what the Red Mage's bonuses are, because we haven't gone into the menu, I don't think they are, but it's a Red Wizard. So Red Wizard innately has access to a lot of black magic, except level 6, and it has more access to white magic than black, but you're going to get every spell 1 through 5 for black magic. And with the mixed spell books, that's probably fine, because you're also going to get and there's a Deadpool's talking to the hint giver in Lefane. It's the mirror image of the chime turn-in guy. I missed what the hint was, but I saw him walking away from it as like Darkmoon was peeking in the windows of the inn.
So shout outs to buffed and unsafe pirates, which DVS just ran into. Pirates with cremate, and buff pirates mean they also have a bunch of HP. So nukes should still take care of them here, but this fight is not safe by any means.
No, I would definitely. There's an opal bracelet for Darkman. It's a nice pickup there. When it comes to buffed pirates, I feel like you gotta go full on instant kills, like Bane, Cake, Zap. But we're gonna dump some nukes, and okay, I don't know how much damage that nuke did to kill the first one, but if they're falling to nukes, they got less than 400 HP. Mm-hmm. So, but that cremate's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a way past this. It may just be try until you get turn order. It's kind of lucky that it's only 1 floor down. We mentioned we have deep towns, and when we say deep towns, we mean deep towns at times. You could be 6 floors down and have to fight this buff pirate Vicky. So, 1 floor down and a floor with like very few encounter causing steps, as the lava does not cause encounters. Not too bad to retry a couple times.
Yeah, definitely. And with and you can see that the pirates ambush Davis and he resets right away. I don't blame him there, because we have another flag on that you can now get ambushed or ambush unrunnable encounters. So we might be able to get a free round in on Chaos when we get to Topher. But we're going to dump some lightning, and unfortunately Seed B does not have as free of nuke access. Davis has got the nuke on the fighter and the white mage, but not on the thief or red wizard. But his nukes. Oh boy!
This looks good. Yeah, he got 2 nukes off with only a single cremate, and 2 nukes is going to take care of this party. So it really is just a spin the wheel until you succeed. And good experience there.
And a rod, so that's pretty good for both runners to have. The biggest key items to look for with the entrance and floor shuffle for me are items that gate physical progression. So the rod is important, not necessarily because it's on top of Lich, but we don't know what's underneath it. We don't know what's underneath the rod lock, and it could be Topher. One of these seeds could have Topher beneath the rod lock, so now we don't got to worry about that. Darkmoon doesn't have to worry about where the rod is if his Topher ends up under the rod lock. So pretty good.
Yeah, not too. So for all the insanity that's going on right now, not too much else to really note. These runners are allowed to share notes, just something to point out for co-op. So they are talking and saying, "Hey, I'm getting this item." But unlike most co-op seeds where they're running the same seed, you can't really share like shard locations and things like that. So these runners really are going at it kind of alone together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it actually, I think it'd be interesting to, like, as a participant in this co-op league, I'd be interested in trying this because it feels like it would sort of lower, and there's a loose TNT for Fry Teeth. It would kind of lower the volume of the room a little bit, I think, where with you and your partner talking in co-op, like, you're sharing a lot of information, like, hey, I found an X for sword +9. Hey, I found loose adamant incoming. Like, you don't need to worry about coming to here because it's empty. You're sharing. It's a lot of like back talk, and it's valuable information, but sometimes it gets lost because there's only so much like information that you can hold on to while you're also running a seed. But in this, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what you found in ordeals. I'm still going to have to clear it. But if you find something that's like, okay, that's pretty good, so it can be much more, I think, therapeutic and the experience. And just like, if you hit a brick wall, like, your partner can immediately help you and just start like, hey, not going to have the same toolkit that you have, but can sort of like, okay, well, if you're having trouble in the Marsh Cave entrance, why don't you hop in the boat and go to Malmont, see what's in there, just move to the next location on your list. You can kind of help that tilt factor as Dead Pulse finds the Lich floor, and it's scary.
That's not too bad. So 100 to 250% bosses. Carry 1 has 600 HP vanilla, so 600 to 1500 HP. Not too bad and definitely doable with, the good weapons that he has combined with Nuke.
Ooh, and Dark Moon found Lefane, but did not go and talk to the Hint Giver. Curious. The Hint Givers will give you... We have useless information is not turned on, so those Hint Givers will let you know if there's loose items hidden around the world, and where like incentive key items are, like for like the gear, like, hey, there's a Masa in the Marsh Cave kind of thing. But Dark Moon opting not to talk to the Hint Giver.
Oh wow, so Dead Pulse on this carry has done over 1,000 damage at this point, and carry is still up and running, and there goes his primary damage dealer. Unfortunately for Dead Pulse, really the only person who's doing a bunch of damage was that fighter swinging the +9 weapon, and carry's hitting hard. So this gets through with 27 damage on that last one, and that really just goes to show that every bit of chip damage can count in these fiend fights.
Absolutely. Chip damage is damage at the end of the day. Classic Gamer asking about slab translation. I don't think slab translation is required for the Hint Giver, in fact. I think that is been fixed by, or made possible by the devs there. So you don't need to have the slab translated to talk. And maybe that's something that Darkmoon doesn't know about the Hint Givers. So Hint Givers isn't something that the folks like Darkmoon and I, like, that we play with a lot, but we've seen it pop up more recently in some of the Irongol, like, hardcore races that we have on Saturday nights, and some of the there's conversation when, like, folks join the server, that's how they play. They might play with Hint Givers on, so that's, you kind of learn about it tangentially. And Darkmoon finds Carrie and gets the jump on her, so gonna opt for Lightning 2 strats and Invis 2s, and we're gonna fog up Danny. All right, so swinging that silver, not swinging the good damage that Dead Pulse was getting.
Yeah, so Dead Pulse actually was getting similar damage as well, except when he crit, and this has a very high crit rate, so as long as he's able to get a few crits off. Darkmoon, though, going with the... So Invis strats are going to help, but the Lightning 2s are just not going to get there on this carry that has over 1,000 HP.
Yeah. But we saw Davis find a loose loot in the bottom here of Mermaids, so another big pickup there for key items.
Yeah, so we were talking about Shard Hunt, and that's one of the requirements to get into the Temple of Fiends Revisited, alongside finding it, but they do not actually need the loot or the key because we have short Topher on.
Ah, fair.
It's so funny watching Dead Pulse walk past that spike tile. It like throws my head for a loop every time. Finding some really nice fighter armor there. Ice armor +5. That is endgame. And yeah, it's going to provide 2 less resistances than the dragon armor, but that additional absorb is absolutely massive.
It's interesting, flag interaction then, like, why not have free loot turned on if you're going to have
yeah, fair enough.
short Topher? Yeah, because you definitely don't need it. So, but yeah, I always like ears perk up or I guess my eyes perk up because I'm not listening to them opening boxes. But when you find that, and there's a Brak stick, like things catch your eye. Like when you've been running this game or watching it, and Brak stick, obviously, like eyes immediately drawn to it. Loot in a non-incentive box, loot in any box really. You key in towards it, and ice +7 shield, and there's Fryteeth going to get his loot. That's not even bonus XP, I don't think.
Nope, because it's XP per shards here.
Yeah,
50% per 8 shards.
Your complimentary useless guitar. As Darkmoon finds Earth 1 in Marsh.
He was trying to check the spike tiles like instinctually, which makes perfect sense for an entrance floor shuffle seed like this. But of course, no spike tiles.
Yeah, so hey, why am I just walking down the Hall of Giants here?
Hey,
hello?
If you ever wanted the quickest trip around the Hall of Giants, it might be worthwhile just for the novelty to just do a little lap.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is not double anti-bingo on top of it, where we could have an incentive to walk the Hall of Giants. Oh, could you imagine doing double bingo on top of this?
Oh, don't give people ideas. We have a very active hardcore community as well as Double Dragon community, all these people who are just always pushing the limits of what the randomizer can do. Meanwhile, we're also, being able to host our brand new players as part of the Duckling Derby, which is going on right now every Monday. We have Spring Tournament coming up in a few months, which is our, slightly more very competitive tournament. So all sorts of different ways to play Final Fantasy Randomizer.
Absolutely. And there's really no wrong way to do it.
Nope.
The thing I like most about, so we talk about piling on bingo on top of this. It probably wouldn't even be that bad for the runners, for a restream, and just like how much information can you have in your head? A nightmare.
So speaking of holding information in your head, I want to give a shout out to our trackers tonight. Shadowed Flames and Danny for doing a fantastic job. There was some great debates on how exactly we would track this, and they're keeping everything up to date. We got all our trackers going. We got spells in chat. We got everything. So shout outs to both of them for doing a great job this evening.
Absolutely. And this is not an easy task to track, but I think you could make this a little spicier. And what if this were counter co-op? And so you had Davis and Darkmoon not on the same seed, but hanging out in voice together. But Darkmoon and Fryteeth are on a co-op team, sharing items but not information.
Oh gosh!
And then Deadpulse and Davis would be sharing information or sharing key items, but not. Oh man, that'd be spicy.
Oh.
But Davis and Fryteeth would be running the same seed.
Okay, heading back, getting away from the insanity, going back to what's going on in Seed. Something really important has happened here for DVS. He has found Elfland, and Elfland is a critical town, as it has both level 3 and level 4 magic available. So some of the highlights: Exit at level 3 black magic,
huge.
Wall at level 4 black magic, and Fire 3. So really, Exit absolutely massive. Wall conditionally very good, but outside of that, no other really big hitters. I mean, to be honest, there's not many big hitters left. When your level 1 is Cure 4, Heal 3, Nuke, and your level 2 has Fast in it, there's not that much more that you're looking for, to be honest.
Yeah. And Darkmoon finds another potentially incentive floor and fiend floor in this dungeon, and finds the carry floor, and Deadpulse are holding hands. And now I don't know if Darkmoon got through, and there's the floater for both teams simultaneously.
Wow. So just to reiterate, especially if you're just tuning in, the runners on the top are running a different seed than the runners on the bottom, but the runners on the right are on one team and the runners on the left are on another team. So both teams just received the floater at the same time, and that means all 4 runners can now get in the air as soon as they get out of whatever dungeon they're in. Oh, they need the canoe as well, but they are one item away from getting in the air. So all the runners now have access to that floater.
Yeah. Now going back to this counter co-op idea. Oh, Tiamat. We found a Brak something.
Well, Dead Pulse in the same seed just found a Brak staff. I don't know if Darkmoon he does. So Brak, a single target insta-death spell with a 26.9% chance to hit Tiamat 1. So he just needs to keep that White Mage alive, and that White Mage is looking like it will die to a single punch. So just needs Tia to not hit that back row or get the turn 2 Brak. There we go. Second Fiend down for our top runners.
So did Darkmoon get Carrie down?
That was
he's
Carrie.
No.
You're right. Dead Pulse killed Carrie. Darkmoon failed, but Darkmoon killed Tiamat on the Carrie floor.
Yeah. Okay.
Shuffled fiends, man. Tiamat on the Carrie floor.
Yeah. And Carrie on the Lich floor. So possibly Vanilla Kraken for the top seeds. And the dream of Lich and Tiamat is alive. Well, actually, Lich on either Kraken or Tia floor is really good.
Yeah, so the reason for that, of course, is that the later Fiend floors, not the Fiends themselves, but the later Fiend floors, when you light the orb, will give you 4 shards. So it doesn't matter whether you fight Lich or Tiamat on the Bridge of Destiny, you're getting 4 shards regardless.
Davis with a potential Astos check here, and it's just regular Stardom. All right. So we need to find a canoe. First team to find a canoe is going to be real happy. Frytees gets the TNT. Now Deadpool's had found, and there's a canoe. A commentator bless.
Yep. I was actually just talking to Drossi, who's a mod, and seeing like, hey, we should have a prediction on first team in the air. Well, that is definitely going to be Team Fade to Brak, as they are about to be airborne.
All right. So where is Temple of Fiends going to be?
Well, so normally in entrance floor, Temple of Fiends will be at the very top of one of the entrances, but because we have a flag, just like everything in the seed, which is turned on, which is Deep Topher or Deep Temple of Fiends, it could be anywhere. It could be at the bottom of a marsh split. So, that's going to be an important location for these runners to find, as they cannot win without it.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of our runners on screen, as Darkmoon is a name that folks might be pretty familiar with. He's been around in the community almost as long, I think a little bit longer than I have. So Spring Tournament 2019 timeframe. So Darkmoon and I sort of older hats in the pool. One of the big layout design contributors to what we call modern FFR. Designs most of the layouts that you see. Looked like our layout actually switched. It was the Double Dragon layout. Now it's Irongol layout. But Darkmoon designed all these layouts. Super creative guy. Partnered with Davis, who is from your Duck cohort just this past summer. So why don't you speak a little bit about Davis?
Yeah, DVS was one of my Fall League partners. Really nice guy. Also recently elected as a admin, an arbiter on the Discord server. So he's around. He's always helping out, doing a bunch of good stuff with the ducks, helping out with making a bunch of videos and helping them get started. So really good. And he loves the insanity. We always joke that every flag that I'm good at and like turned on, he likes turned off, and every flag that I dislike, he likes. So we were really good on the co-op league together, but this is or the fall league together, but this is right up his alley. He loves the insanity, so he's right at home right now.
And Deadpulse and Fryteeth. Fryteeth, I think, was also in that same Duck cohort from the summer, but participating in the current Duck Derby, as is Deadpulse, who's relatively new to the community. This is his first Duck Derby, so we got a pair of ducks taking on Darkmoon. In the first co-op tournament was part of the team Duckling Eternal, I think was their name, with it was him and Min the mage. So that was Darkmoon's first co-op team, and now partnered with a newer duck platypus type runner in DVS, and Deadpulse and Fryteeth, the young bucks trying to take them to task. I love it.
Yeah, but I mean, Deadpulse cannot be, we're saying he's a duck, but he cannot be, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you were not scared of him. He's at a perfect 100 out of 100 points in a field of 39 ducklings. He's come first in both races. So, Deadpulse, someone to be reckoned with already, very soon into his FFR career.
And he finds the Temple of Fiends. So now all he's got to do is just find Espers, Espers is... No, he's got to find pieces.
Yeah, he's got to find the shards. 32 of them, which are quite a bit. Our shards hunts can range from anywhere from like 24 to up to 30 or 36 shards. So finding 32 is quite a few, and it will take a decent amount of entrances. You're going to be looking, unless you're finding like all of your fiends really early, you're going to be checking, 70-80% of entrances.
And it can even go as low as 16 if you really want like a very fast experience. So Shard Hunt, it opens the doors for a lot of different options for playing FFR. So we're so used to seeing in the spring tournaments the get your 6 to 7 key items depending on like what your transportation key item go mode is, whether it's the canoe to get to carry, or if it's the canoe and floater because you got progression locked in Gaia, Lefane, or there's no northern docks or whatever. But there's typically just the big key items you need. You need the rod, you need the oxyale, you need the cube, the chime, the key, the loot, and then transportation of some sort. With entrance and floor shuffle and shard hunt, you don't really need any of that. You just need potentially just key and loot. And in a situation like this, you don't even need that. You just need shards. So you're going to be opening a lot of boxes. We have loose items in the pool because of the tri-state incentives and how many places we have incentivized, or potentially incentivized, but it's not necessarily required. So really, it's just runner comfort. When you hit a level and finding Topher, when you hit a level that you're comfortable with, a gear magic loadout that you are, again, comfortable with to go into Topher and do the thing, you can just do it and go as soon as you find those shards. So open a lot of boxes.
So 2 things have happened. One, Deadpulse found the shuffled Astos, which was Narek, the dwarf who blows up the canal. Meanwhile, his partner, Fryteeth, has just found the Bridge of Destiny, or Sky 5, the Tiamat floor. And it is indeed Lich on the Tiamat floor. So this is going to be the easiest 4 shards he has ever picked up in his FFR career.
Now, we did call that, I was calling a race last night for the Duck Derby, and we had the Ice Cave that we're also running Shard Hunt this week. The Ice Cave 6-pack had 3 shards right on top of each other, and I was like, it doesn't really get much better than that. You open a box like shard, and they're like, open a shard. As soon as you open a box to see a shard, you're excited. When you open the box next to it, it's another one. It's just, happy day. But I've never had 3 in one room outside of like an orb lighting. Like, that must have felt really good.
Yeah, no, you always are happy to find that density of shards. Sometimes if you're on Sky 3, for example, which is where Deadpulse is right now, I believe, which is one of the most chest-dense locations in the game. If you get 3 shards out of that, you're happy. Never mind 3 in a single room. So just, notes about Shard Hunt, just kind of continuing that. You're really, really happy to check rooms with tons of shards. Now, it's interesting here, because there's the opportunity to have some loose items, the runners may choose to open out-of-the-way boxes. But once they figure out, hey, I got my canoe, I got my floater, I'm in the air, they could just end up skipping the rest of those difficult-to-get boxes and just focus on chest density and killing bosses. So it'll be interesting to see if we see that strategic adjustment at some point.
What's fascinating to me is with all of the options available, Deadpulse, Darkmoon almost holding hands. We see the big route divergence in DVS and Fryteeth, but Dark Moon and Dead Pulse, despite everything, holding hands and still looking for a canoe. So that's the big difference here.
Well,
between
Dead
the
Pulse,
teams.
yeah, Dead Pulse does have that canoe, and that floater is going to, every minute that you're in the air that your opponents are not, you're gaining 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and it really starts to add up. Now, we have relatively low encounter rates on, so you're not like getting destroyed with, encounter as you're walking outside, or using encounter manipulation to skip them. But that floater just moves faster, gets you to where you want to go in straight lines. As a crow flies, they say, and for good reason.
Yeah, and so Team D&D&D has the crown. It doesn't matter whose crown they have. If DVS can turn in that crown, he'll get his canoe.
That's correct.
So he's just got to find, and I think it's right here on the left. So he's going to head to northwest. And oh man, the fact that I could call that floor out.
That was so impressive, Caleb.
Everything happening.
See, it's clear that you're hungry. Your focus is laser sharp right now. If you're just joining us, by the way, my name's Jat. I'm joined here in the booth by Caleb, and you are watching Final Fantasy Randomizer Irongol Double Dragon Championship, which is our co-op league. And not only that, you are watching multi-world, which means that the two runners on the top who are opponents are running the same seed, and the two runners on the bottom who are opponents are running the same seed. And then the people on the left are on one team, and the people on the right are on one team. There's a bunch of other crazy stuff going on, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask in chat. I want to shout out the best item to get -5 or -9 in the game. Deadpool's just found a ribbon.
And he also found XCal -1. Like, not, we're probably going to find something better, but maybe we'll find that incentive Masa that maybe that if that Vorpal rolls plus really anything, like that's your chef's kiss. Because
I want to differentiate too between fiend killing weapons and seed killing weapons, because when you're fighting common enemies, the XCal preys on enemy weaknesses. It's actually good against everything, which means that XCal -1 is going to be absolutely fantastic against killing your run-of-the-mill enemies as well as your fiend ones. However, once you get into the Temple of Fiends Revisited, all of the fiends lose their elemental weaknesses, which means that having the XCal on is not nearly as much of a benefit, and all of a sudden its lower crit rate and its -1 blurs does make a much bigger difference. So XCal going to be great for going through the seed, but they might want something different for the end game, or even just re-equip that. I believe that it's a light axe, but it's an ice axe this time that's +9. That's going to be fantastic.
I will make a minor correction. The XCal also takes advantage not just of weaknesses, but of types. So it's still kind of effective in Topher. Not as effective as, simultaneous katana -3s for Davis and Fryteeth in different locations. That was pretty neat. But it will still take advantage of the different enemy types. So Lich being undead, Carrie being, I think she's mage type, but it'll still like take advantage of those. And it's just the fact that it doesn't have much crit rate, it sort of loses its effectiveness after Kraken 2.
Yeah.
Like, he could still make it work on Tia because Tia's dragon type, but it's not really going to do anything on Chaos at all. So,
yeah. Sorry, I guess I was referring more to the later fiends, but 100% right. And thank you for that clarification, Caleb.
I mean, that's also for the Fiend 2s as well. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah.
Cool.
And Deadpool gets Kraken.
So this must be, oh goodness, I'm getting the multi-worlds mixed up. This could be anywhere. It's anywhere except for, this is probably Kraken floor?
Yeah, it's Kraken floor. Yeah, it's Kraken floor in the earth, near the Earth Cave. And there's Masa -3 for Dark Moon from Lefane. So that's interesting because we talked about it. So we're not going to get it on the top seeds, but I guess we still might have a surprise and a ribbon +9 on the bottom. And he's got 2 Invis 2 plus Invis 2. What the heck? Invis 2 +9 bonks. Give me those. That's really good. That's really good.
Insane. Look at this. That's a Roostaff +8, 2 light ice axes +9. Masa -3 on Dark Moon screen. So just like insanely good gear here for these runners. So, these bosses are 100 to 250% HP and stats. So they're, nothing to sneeze at, but the runners are going to be well equipped to deal with them.
And question from Classic Gamer 76: any buffs for elemental weapon effects? So that is a new beta flag that we have not turned on for this this race right here. And there's the shuffled Astos for the top seed. And that was the Narek. That was the one you called earlier. Awesome. If you go to the randomizer, the beta site, within bug fixes, there's an option to increase elemental/type damage bonus. For this seed, it's at +10. So that flame sword is going to do an extra 10 damage to enemies that are weak to fire. This is pretty neat. Meaning that Excal is even a little bit more effective than normal too.
Yeah, I mean, a 42 base damage weapon is already good enough, but when it's up to 52, then we're in Masa territory. Slightly worse crit and hit, of course, but still very good.
Yeah, and you can crank that up to +50 if you want. So good. Deadpulse finds his Canaria Castle and gets another ribbon and the loot.
Funny, when you get the duplicate item, it does absolutely nothing for your team. So,
yeah,
these runners are going to be checking the incentive locations because they're kind of there anyways. But realistically, they're actually more looking for boxes than they are incentive locations now that they're in the air. Really, the canal, the canal, the ship, the canoe, and the floater were kind of the key items to find. But now that all the runners have those, they're not going to be nearly as hurting for key items.
Chain armor +9. That's the cheapest in-game armor I've ever seen. So that +9 is going to give it an extra 18 absorb.
Yeah,
bringing it to 33. Then that's like Opal Bracelet level absorb.
Yeah, I love chain armors to begin with. Like, whenever I see chain armors in the store, I'm like, yes, I get cheap armor for my fighter and my red mage. Never mind when it's +9, where I just never have to replace it.
There's that ribbon +9 pickup for, and at this point, we're running into a problem where we have too much good stuff. It's like, what do I have to? I'm gonna have to drop something at some point. Fryteeth lights his water orb, and he's going so quick. I think that was 3 rows +3, so that's 21 shards.
Yes.
3 rows +2 rows, or was it 2 rows +4? So they're so fast.
He has some number of shards, as Dark Moon also takes down a fiend for a measly two shards compared to the glory of the other ones. Deadpulse, though, we're gonna get our first look at the buff pirates on the top seed here. Let's see if they have something to say.
I like that he queued up the Bane from the Black Wizard. Hopefully we get a decent turn order here. And we do. So Bane's going to come out, and it's not going to kill everyone, but hey, was it 6 of 9? It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
definitely kind of.
It's a nice veteran move by Deadpulse.
And Pirates was stunned, but and I like the double fighter bring. I just realized this party comp. It's a heads up play there. As Fryteeth finds his original floater from the crystal, and Davis finds the bottom Topher. So Topher doesn't appear to be too trolly of a location.
So both seeds have found the all-important Temple of Fiends, and that is, as I said, a big item off the checklist. When you have deep Temple of Fiends, it's always scary.
And so looks like Davis has 17 shards, Dark Moon has 10. And we're buying nuke shirts. And stop going so fast, Deadpulse. Deadpulse looked like he had about 17 shards as well.
Classic routing here from DBS. Once you get the floater, when you're in entrance floor shuffle, you're looking for entrance density. Just like we were talking about chest density for what floors you want to clear, you're looking for entrance density. And once you have the floater, going from cardia aisle to cardia aisle to cardia aisle is about as quick as it gets.
And Darkmoon finds Crescent Lake, so this is a free key item check here with the sages, guaranteed to give us something. Maybe it's have we had seen the incentive ribbon for the top seeds? I don't think so.
Yes, I think both parties have found their incentive ribbon, because one was at the ferry and one was at King or Sarah, depending on what seed they were on.
That is right. Now I remember. There's an anti-rub hammer, to go back to our reference from the beginning of the game. And we got Life 2 and Lock. All right, that Life 2 is unfortunately going to be locked to only the white wizard, or white mage, white wizard, but no one on the top there has brought a red mage or wizard. But Temper and Fade, also level 6 black, is interesting. And there's a cube. Cube's pretty good.
Yeah, first cube, always a nice find. We have seen the cube block on the top screen, so they could return to that. It's an interesting debate. Usually if the cube is close to the top of the cube block is near the top of the dungeon, I'll just go back and clear it. But if it's further down, I'll generally go check easier entrances. But oh look, it's the first floor. I remember we saw this earlier. So Darkmoon, straight through that cube block, and we have Elf Castle. So we're going to get our first look at what the Sleeping Prince has for us.
Sweet. And it's a slab.
Duplicate item.
Yeah. There's a big sun sword there. It looks like sun sword +5? Or no, +8. That's an in-game weapon. That's pretty really good.
Oh, yeah. I was just about to mention that, actually. A big item that both of these runners are going to be looking for is actually the key, because it's just going to open up a bunch of relatively fast checks. It might be a little bit too late for it now, but that's something that these runners probably wish they had found a little bit earlier. Not to get into the Temple of Fiends through the locked doors. Once again, we have short Topher on, so it's not required. But they would really like that key so they can just check, 6 free chests in Canaria Castle, 7 free chests in Dwarves, and hopefully pull, 3 or 4 shards from there.
And we had route convergence on the top. Now we have it on the bottom. Both of our runners here on the Sharknado floor, and Classic Gamer pointing out that we had Excal +7 on the lower seeds here. So there's a Temper shirt for Deadpool. See, let me just walk back and pick this up. It's way better than the sleep shirt I'm dragging around. And another piece. So he's up to, he needs 10. So that's pretty good. He's in a good spot here. Both runners do need to kill Chaos in order to win this match. So could have very different Temple of Fiends experiences. Both runners have to fight every single Fiend refight within the short Topher. So if you thought we were going to take it easy on them by giving them the short Topher, they only got to kill 2 Fiends. Nah, they got to kill all 4 today.
Ooh, okay. A big decision there, and DVS just nopes out immediately. He found Bahamut, and they do have a free tail, and he was like, I am not rolling the dice on randomized promotion. My classes are great, and I don't want to change anything.
And we saw Darkmoon do the same thing when he found Bahamut. So I guess the random promotions were spoiled, so they must have just planned their party based on what they were just going to run. And now there might be an outside chance that one of these promoted classes or unpromoted classes that Davis is running will promote into a black belt. So we might see a revisit to Bahamut once we've hit a threshold, because the whatever we're leveling up with whatever magic we have will carry over to promotion. That black belt, if it can't learn magic due to the class blessings, it won't be able to learn anything new, but it will retain what it already learned as a white mage or as a thief.
Okay, so I had that wrong. I apologize earlier. I am, as I said, not a Irongol specialist, and these random promotions are not the bread and butter FFR experience, but they are definitely something interesting, and it changes the strategy every single seed, and that's something that I think these runners especially just really love, is exploring brand new uncharted territory.
And I want to give a special shout out to one of the leaders in the community that we have, because that's how I learned of that about the random promotions. There's that Xcal +7 for Fry Teeth. Lord Fizzlebeef did a reaction series called Time for Learn, where he watched Pro Jared, who big famous YouTube guy, played through Final Fantasy Randomizer for like a little mini series on his YouTube channel, and Lord Fizzlebeef was doing his Time for Learn reaction to it. And spoilers for the Pro Jared run, but he had random class promotions on it. I guess he didn't know, but in that, watching that, it was like, okay, the knight just like turned into a black wizard, and it was just like, okay. But then the thief turned into something else, and one of the casters turned into a melee class. And the interesting interaction there is that melee class kept the caster magic that it learned pre-promotion, and the black wizard that was formerly a fighter kept the strength and vitality of being a fighter from its early levels, but like every level it gained after that was black mage stats. So it's sort of interesting, like those double fighters on Dead Pulse's screen, if they turn into mages upon promotion, they would retain that huge health pool that they have. They would retain that huge strength. So if it was still like swinging Masa or something, it would be crushing stuff. So, real interesting things start happening when you start turning on a bunch of different options within the randomizer. I don't play with them a lot, but I really probably should. I should probably start casual playing this game again to just try some stuff out instead of, because when you're in a race setting, like you sort of like just have your blinders on and you can narrow your focus and you can kind of miss how some things work. But there's a huge contingent of people within the community that play this game casually, and if that's something, if racing isn't for you and you just want to hang out with folks that love this game and want to talk about the love that they have for this game, the Discord is a place for that too. It's not just racing that happens over there. A lot of casual players like to hang out and talk about the seeds that they're running, learn about different strategies and ways to get over hills that isn't just grinding to 50. Lots of Final Fantasy 1 talk. I just talked a bunch. I saw Dark Moon's screen had 18.
Yeah, they also did find the key. So that is going to be nice for them to check a few more locations. Now, something I want to shout out is that a lot of the time the strategy around co-op is that you're trying to like kind of time when you're going to enter Temple of Fiends. If someone's going to go early, you're both going to go at the same time. It would not be surprising at all here if one of these seeds was faster than the other, just because of shard density, spells, the Fry Teeth strategy, which is 4 nuke shirts, can kill anything.
We saw a strategy similar employed during the spring tournament where it was a week 1 match. Ikben Maya, veteran runner in the community, taking on Ale, a veteran runner now, but not in the community as long as someone like Ikben Maya. They were racing each other. Level 1 nuke rolled, and Maya re-rolled into 4 red mages and just bet on low boss rolls and just nuked his way through the entire seed and just cruised to like a sub like 115 finish or something and just smoked that seed with just nukes. Nukes will carry the day if you let them.
Turns out nukes are the best damage spell in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We talk and joke a lot about how Cure 4 and Life 2, like Life 2 is the better cure spell because it max health +1 because it brings you back from the dead. But I still think I'd rather have Cure 4 than Life 2, personally speaking. Just being able to revive in battle to full and knock off any sort of status impairment other than stone, it's pretty good. Oh, we got a Garland fight here. I wonder what's going to happen with Fry Teeth. Oh, nuke shirt.
Oh, nuke shirt. Oh, what are we going to... No, nuke shirt. Yeah, one of the...
Princess. Nuke shirt. Where'd she go?
That would be a sprite edit. You walk into Canaria Castle and the princess is just wearing a shirt that says nuke on it, just for Fry Teeth.
That'd be amazing. We see a lot of, not necessarily in this race, I don't think we see any custom sprites actually, now that I think about it, but we have a lot of creative folks, so that's another avenue into the game if that's something you're interested in, doing sprite editing. But yeah, we don't see a whole lot of NPC sprite edits. There was a little talk the other day about turning the bottle fairy into the Deku princess from Legend of Zelda. That was kind of fun to see what happened there when you start messing with the color palettes for NPCs, and all of a sudden everyone in Gaia was wearing pink dresses and had green hair. It was pretty neat. Had darker complexions. Looked like the Gaia became like this sort of tropical looking town. It was awesome.
Final Fantasy is coded quite interestingly, actually, and like big shout outs to our devs for managing to like pull so much out of this code base, because it may look like, oh, I just changed this color, or I just changed this sprite, or I just changed the way this works, but they're very, very, very complicated systems, and they're very difficult to change. So shout outs to them.
And there's even systems in place that like I don't understand them all the time, but like the fact that like looking at Dead Pulse's screen, it's purple. That means that it's native, I think, to obviously the OnRack Continent. So, but because it's floor shuffle, it's also changed base there too. So if this were like standard entrance shuffle, and you found, because I thought purple was related to Elfland. Like if you go into Elfland and it's the Marsh Cave, it might be a purple Elfland. But the colors are linked up to specific entrances too, and I used to know them. But like orange, I think, is Gaia because it's Earth, right? But this teal blue color, I think that's Provoca's color, but I don't remember. But yeah, so like lots of, like you're talking about, neat little things. So if, like you think it's just like flavor, oh, Stardust 4 is like a tealish blue, but it's really, there was an intent and purpose behind it. Kind of lost because we broke the game up so much. Like Proction Waterfall, like another thing you just kind of take for granted. And there's Darkmoon's clarinet and ribbon from Princess and the King.
One of our great trackers tonight, Shadow Flames alongside Danny, just pointed an unofficial shard count in chat. So Darkmoon and DVS both at approximately 22 shards. Meanwhile, Dead Pulse and Fryeteeth both around 25. So Dead Pulse and Fryeteeth definitely with a small lead on both seeds. Now, this could be attributed to a number of things, but I think one of the big ones is just they got in the air just a little bit faster, and they're probably an entrance or two ahead each.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And it's any sort of pre-Topher lead doesn't really feel like a lead. And there's our first crystal for Team D&D&D here in the Waterfall Cave. And Dave, it looks like Davis only needs 2 shards. So we might need to reevaluate that shard count. I mean, but I don't know if we're going to see the special treat that we have for the bottom. Chad, that special beta flag that Life Reboot made. I don't know if Life Reboot made specifically this one, but it's definitely in the conversation.
We might just need to hold that off for another rebroadcast. If you're interested in seeing lots of this, come check out our Discord. We have race announcements when all these, FFR, Double Dragon Championship matches are going on, when we're doing Irongol, other things, which is when you're going to see a lot of these beta flags. So, come check it out. We won't spoil it yet. I think it's a pretty interesting thing, and I don't think it is going to happen this seed, but
lots of changes. Keep our eyes peeled on these bottom boxes. Anybody opening bottom boxes, or when we hit... Well, Davis only needs 1 more shard. But yeah, there's a lot of like I was saying, like every day there's almost new flags like coming in, or like bugs being fixed, flag interactions being refined, and I think a lot of credit goes to Wildham, who has been sort of leading the charge and sort of like revitalized the development team. Because like I know the Entroper, the creator of the Randomizer, has done a lot of hard work. Nitz and Septimus and Meridian have done a lot of really good work, and then there's been other like non-dev admins that have done, like co-op here is all thanks to Meridian. He developed this almost a year and a half ago, and there's the Masa from the Princess. So the dream is dead, and it's the Masa +3. So unfortunately, Princess didn't turn into Warmneck.
we do have like very, very, very good weapons on the bottom here. We've got a Xcal +7. We've got a Masa +3. Wow, it is
Yeah, and Davis is ready to go. So showing his, like you said, those veteran, hardcore like Irongol or Nan's flags experience, and 53 minutes with a setup with flags like this, and an independent shard hunt for 32, like having to find all those shards on his own, keep track of all of his entrances on his own. Huge play here for DVS to be our first runner to go into Topher at 54 minutes.
Yeah, just a reminder though, this is first team to finish. It's not first player to finish. So Darkmoon will need to finish in order for Team D&D&D to win this race. And I believe that Dead Pulse has a shard lead on him right now. So, even though DVS is the first runner who's going to be entering the Temple of Fiends Revisited, he could very well be the first runner to finish. You got to keep your eyes peeled for his partner, Darkmoon, up in the top left there. Ooh, DVS finds another nuke shirt and a ribbon. Wow, checking these chests really paying off. And this is definitely communication with his partner. If DVS was just by himself, he probably wouldn't be checking these chests. But because he has Darkmoon, he's like, Darkmoon's like, hey, I got a little bit to go. Prep for your dive a little bit, get your stuff, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, there's no reason not to open these boxes if your partner's not even close. Like, yeah, get the stuff you need. You got to take on 4 fiends here. And I loved it because we had route convergence again with Davis and Dead Pulse on different seeds, both of the Marsh split, both going Marsh top. But here we go. We're going to open up with a big old swing on Lich, and we take 276 of its HP along with another 106 there. We're going with X for. Are we trying to X for Brak? Lich? Lich says, thank you for your hubris. I'll zap you. But Lich goes down easy enough. So just full disrespect. And maybe this is just a personal information dive to see what kind of stuff we're working with here, but maybe not. Maybe there's no life access on the bottom here, and there's the reset. So Dave is probably going to go look for some levels, looks like. But yeah, so big shout outs to the developers for the randomizer. Wildham sort of came in the late spring, early summer, and just started dumping a ton of new flags in there. Once the 4.0 is going to get pushed to live soon, and you're going to see a brand new layout on the FinalFantasyRandomizer.com website, along with about 480 new options. It feels like there's so many neat things in there. Life Reboot, I said, was been contributing. We had Mad Martin, another new developer, making flags for the randomizer, and created a starting gear flag. So you can select preset options to pick what sort of so you can start the game with an X number of houses or heal pots, and there's a lot of neat stuff on there that. I think it warrants a casual playthrough from me anyway, that just kind of appreciate the game for what it is and not just get sort of tunnel vision into just racing the game, which is also really fun to do.
Yeah, definitely. So DVS did a little look around, but unfortunately for him, life is not easily available in his seed. So he's got his red mage back up. He's got a little bit more of a plan. He's going to dive back in. We're going to see what the plan is here on round 2.
We're going to open these boxes, and I wonder if we exit out and save, so we don't have to do this every time. Because although it's possible that we could get through this right now, I think it's important to hedge a little bit. Just do yourself a favor, exit out, drop a house, and save it again, and just save yourself this 20 to 30 seconds, and that's what Davis is doing. Heads up play there for him.
Yep, I agree. And also, he's able to get here with no encounters, so this is a walk that he may be willing to take multiple times until he really runs into a roadblock. One of the things with short Topher that's totally different than regular Topher is you can kind of just bang your head against it until it breaks if you have a relatively decent set of tools.
Yeah, 100%. I just laughing at you said until he hits a roadblock, and it's like that bat, and then that bat, and then that bat, and that first bat made him take an extra step, and he hit that impact.
Those bats are not NPC guillotinable.
No, those bats are just literal roadblocks. And Deadpool's going to take on Tia here for 2 shards on the carry floor, and Davis gets through Lich here without seeing the zap. Pretty good. Much better spot here to take on carry. We're going to swap around, keep the fighter in the back row, and we got the ambush, so perfect turn order. Let's take advantage of that. Start fasting. We're going to ruse the thief. We're going to nuke, and we're going to fight. So take a big chunk out of her HP, hopefully. Well, about 300 damage out there. Fasting the fighter. And we got the ruse up on the thief. We're going to ruse again. We're going to nuke. We're going to wait, and we're going to swing. There's a big hit. 9 hits, 474. Nuke comes out, so it's about 600 damage there that round. Carry missing the thief. We're on a much better fight than last time. We're going to... Oh, nuclear. Ooh. Less than ideal, but we skirt it, and Carry goes down with a 49 hit from the red wizard. Boy, we're glad we woke that guy up.
Wow, not only is he glad he woke that person up, that white mage is very, very important to keep alive, and it survived on 9 HP, so that was close, but you know what? All that counts here is getting through, and that is exactly what he did.
Yeah. And taking advantage of that level 1 cure 4 on the thief. So much fun when blessings win. Let's see what we're going to do with Kraken. We're going to open up with the ruse, the nuke, the fast, and Expert, and swing. Sun Sword swinging, 3 hits, 3 damage. We're going to need something better than that. Expert comes out, ineffective. Fire 2. Of things that Kraken 2 can do, that's probably the best thing that we can see is Fryteeth's diving into this Topher now too. So bottom seed a little bit jettier, and Dead Pulse coming in Topher. This is way too much insanity. I can't track it. Good thing we got Shadowed and Danny here. And Topher top, not as kind. We got a Fire 2 hat. Kraken getting some damage in there.
Ooh, that is not a Fire 2 or a Lightning 2. So having the party members go down, one of the issues that DVS is running into here is that his Knight, who was his primary damage dealer, is swinging that X-Cal, and that X-Cal is fantastic, but just doesn't quite have the crit rate to get through this Kraken, lacking temper as well.
I think it's swinging the...
Sun Sword?
The Sun Sword, yeah, but we get through, so we got Cure 4 and nukes between these two, but it doesn't feel great. And Fryteeth already onto Kraken 2 without that white mage, so interesting they're running the same party, so really wish I probably could have just loaded the seed up. But Kraken does not cast Fire 2 first and just knocks out C4. But we're going to plug those Invis 2 gauntlets in, and we're going to get our evasion ramping up. Unfortunately, the cropping here can't be fixed, so something happened on Fryteeth's stream after the crop was set, so SpeedGaming can't fix it for us, so we're just going to have to hope and pray that we survive and B4 goes down, and it's going to be hold A and pray for A4 as DVS is on to Tia 2 and Dead Pulse onto Kraken, and there's a white preset for Fryteeth. Jet, I'm going to tag you in, Jet. My throat's dry. I got to drink some water.
quick check-in on Darkmoon. Darkmoon is 2 shards away, so he is almost 1 shard away. Darkmoon is 1 shard away from entering the Temple of Fiends Revisit, so all 4 runners surprisingly close. DVS on a careful resource management game here, but he has the knowledge, and you know what? This setup could work. Ooh, that hurts a lot. Slow 2, not what you're looking for there. The way slow 2 works is you're basically either doing 1-time swings, 2-time swings, or you're swinging once. And when slow 2 hits there, he's swinging once, and that's very unfortunate for him. But he's still chipping away at this Tiamat. Yes, this Tiamat can have tons of HP, almost 3,000 at its max. But he's doing, 200 damage a turn. As long as Tiamat doesn't come out with anything too scary, he can definitely get through this.
And nice play there, fasting himself again, taking the round to get the thief back up to vanilla hitting. Mm-hmm. So you already see it quadrupling his damage output with 1 round.
That's Sun Sword.
Dead Pulse through and walking around to Chaos on the top. So fade to Brak in a pretty good spot here, depending on how Fryteeth gets through. And Davis gets... that guy, bottom left, gets through.
I think Kraken and Tia, though, are a little bit scarier. So Fryteeth definitely not out of the woods yet, having already lost a character before even getting onto Kraken or Tiamat. Keep your eyes peeled. Of course, Dead Pulse getting through Chaos here is essential, but his party's in pretty good shape here. Keep your eyes peeled on the bottom right, as this could go horribly wrong. Oh, speaking of going horribly wrong, that is an opening turn nuke. luckily, DBS has Cure 4 and is getting some evasion up, but he needs some turn order here.
And Jet, top right Chaos, opening a turn Cure 4.
Okay, so opening turn Cure 4, not the end of the world. Something you have to keep in mind, and it's really important to have damage buffs, or else you cannot out-damage his Cure 4, especially if this Chaos has, close to 5,000 HP. But he looks like Dead Pulse does have those damage buffs and is in decent shape here.
Yep, and Davis getting his buffs out. And there's Chaos with Cure 4 on the bottom, too. So, yikes.
Meanwhile, Fryeteeth down to a single fighter. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This bottom seed, Kraken and Tiamat are not easy by any stretch. And Fryeteeth winning with this solo fighter is going to be incredibly difficult, especially stunned. Oh, no. Oh, he gets through.
Big crit there at the end. And time to spam some heals as Dead Pulse kills Chaos on the top. And
Dark Moon cannot find this last shard, or he forgot where Temple of Fiends is.
Chaos busts out Crack. And we're not getting damage through. 4 hits 27, 4 hits 84. We need... Where are those temperatures for top seed, I think?
There was a temper or something in the bottom seed because I saw Fryeteeth casting it, but DBS does not have access to it. Which, as I said, the problem with Cure 4 is when you cannot out-damage that Cure. And that's the situation that DVS is running into a little bit here, going in without buff spells. But nice cast of Cure 4. He can keep himself alive. It's just a question of, will Chaos get through his spell list first, or will he die? Notice in chat right now we're getting single Gs. That is a co-op tradition. When you win with a single party member, you get a single G.
Fryeteeth was betting that he didn't need to heal up and was just going for buffs to just blow through, and Tia 2 chipped down Fryeteeth. But now Fryeteeth's got information all the way through the Tia script, so as Dark Moon now and Topher onto carry, he's got a temper item.
Yeah, and he's down 2 party members right now, but he does have life available. Remember, that was the seed.
Oh no. He took a reset there. Something happened. Must have lost the white mage. And Davis getting in work. Big hit there. 300 damage. Takes out Chaos. Get that single G in chat for Team D&D&D. As we have catty corner finishes between Dead Pulse and Davis.
Yeah, I do have to say, I think this bottom seed is more difficult, but I think Fryeteeth can absolutely, like in terms of Temple of Fiends Revisited, it's definitely a little bit riskier. But Fryeteeth can get through it if he keeps his whole party up, but he's playing very cautiously, which is probably a good thing considering how difficult it's been. But this could give an opportunity for Dark Moon to get through if he can get, hit the gas a little bit here.
Yeah, and we have simultaneous carry fights. Please note that these are different carries with different scripts, different HP totals, and we're going for the 256 Brak, and we're rusing for Dark Moon, and Fryeteeth working the slow roll here. Here comes some nukes doing 145. 360 gets it down, so that's whew.
I think that Brak was a misclick, unfortunately, for Dark Moon. Because Brak is ahead of Ruse there, and he was trying to use the Ruse shirt. But he did get up to max evade with turn order right before Carrie swung at him. And now he's got Temper and Ruse shirt, so Dark Moon in good shape. His item magic is excellent. Meanwhile, Fryeteeth getting a free turn with that Fire 2, that's exactly what he needed. Now, what he's also looking for is he needs low rolls on this Kraken's nuke.
And now that we've got a million Invis 2s out, we're going to be hoping for Kraken punches. You don't really expect it, but when the Kraken's got turn 1 nuke, I'd rather see punches. Lightning 2? Okay. Keep those spells going. That nuke's coming.
Nuke gonna roll somewhere, generally speaking, in the 300s. But he's doing huge damage. He just needs Kraken to not nuke like this turn or next turn. Oh, he gets through. Ooh. Wow, that was incredibly good prioritization in terms of damage, and also just a little bit of luck in terms of Kraken just not getting out that nuke, which I believe was the second or third spell.
Yeah. I think it's second, because I think it was Fire 2 into Lit 2, and we just saw the Lit 2 the round prior, so there's a good chance that we were going to see a spell right there. Mm-hmm. But we got Dark Moon dealing with his own Kraken, throwing tornadoes around, and we're preparing for Tiamat with a bunch of evasion. Love it. When you got Invis 2 bonks and you got all 4 people with it, and you can get 4 out of 6 Invises up, that feels real good. But looks like stun's going to stop us from getting 4. We're going to get halfway there. Like we're living on a prayer.
Wow, this is incredibly close. We're 1 fiend apart on 2 different seeds on 2 different teams. Welcome to Final Fantasy Double Dragon multi-world co-op. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, you're tuning into something absolutely insane here. I'm Jad. I'm joined here in the booth by Caleb. And wow, that poison doing a lot of work. Remember, the bottom seed has no life. The top seed has 2 casts of life remaining.
And we're just dumping damage in and hoping that our chaos fight is going to be okay. The nuke shirt's coming out. 186. Another swing from the Masa. 8 hits, 710. Tiamat's got to be on the ropes. Missing the A4. It's showing the X-Cal. That was a miss mini there. 8 hits, 779 is enough to take out Tiamat. And we got Cure Force is pretty okay. But we got to take a minute here. Move our stuff around. Give the roost stick to the fighter. Move him down to the bottom slot. Prep for that potential crit loop that we may need as Dark Moon's on to Tia 2.
Yeah, he's going with defensive strats again, so this fight will take a little bit of time while he sets up, but going for the safer strats. That Kraken's Tiamat is not hitting super hard. Dark Moon could try and speed things up here a little bit, and we could see Dueling Chaoses any moment now, but Fry Teeth only with 2 party members. That's the scary part. And we know this Chaos has Cure 4 as well.
Opens with Ink, and we're going to get Invis 2 and Ruse out. That's going to get us halfway there on A4, and I'm really doing my best to not go into Bon Jovi lyrics, but it's really easy.
There's that nuke that comes out. That was absolutely huge. This is the problem I was seeing. Oh no!
Not like this. So Fry Teeth gets the first look at his chaos and just gets punched in the mouth as Dark Moon now with a soft lead here for Team D&D&D. Question from Chatwise Deadpool's time still running because he hasn't stopped it.
Yeah, and they also do finish as a team regardless, so he might just be doing his timer as a team. Okay, Dark Moon through. He cannot res that Black Mage. He has no casts of life left. But not only that, that Black Mage was the one who had Cure 4 on his team. So, but the one good thing Dark Moon has going for him, that fighter has 800 HP.
It's huge.
It's absolutely huge.
All right. And he gets the jump. So free turn here. We're gonna dump a temper, and we're rusing. So everyone else is expendable for Darkmoon. Only Danny the Knight is worth keeping alive. So we're gonna keep the ruses and we're gonna keep the tempers coming. Darkmoon has no idea what this chaos has. We know that he's gonna open up with a Cure 4 if it casts a spell. So punching really soft. So pretty good information there. Did not hit Dang the Ninja very hard at all. And there's the Cure 4. And that's good because we haven't done any damage yet. Now we're going to start swinging. As Chaos takes out Dang. Good turn order there. X-Cal minus 1, 2 hits, 531. We're getting damage. Not a lot of hits, but we're going to temper Dwight on accident. Some nerve showing there for Dark Moon. Little miss mini, but 2 hits, 455. That's good damage. Coming out of that X-Cal minus 1. Stun's going to miss off DVS 7. 2 hits, 184. That's more like X-Cal minus 1 damage.
Mm-hmm. He's relying on crits here, but he has to outrace that Cure 4. Luckily for him, he did it at the perfect time. Like, he started swinging as soon as he hit max defense, and that was the turn Chaos cast Cure 4. Now remember, Ink skills do not move you towards that Chaos's Cure 4 cast, but doesn't matter. That Chaos did not have max HP by any stretch. Down goes Chaos, and we have our first place team finishing with an official Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord race bot time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 56 seconds. So GG's to team D&D&D. Not a lot of disorder, dysfunction. What was the other one?
Trauma?
Drama. Disorder, dysfunction, and drama tonight. So shout outs to DVS, Darkmoon, and Dwight.
Big GG's there. That was not easy to do.
I kind of had a feeling that the bottom seed was a little bit nastier, and DVS getting through was a combination of him playing well and also him just kind of navigating a very narrow path, in order to get through that. So, good job by those runners there. We are joined in the booth here by Darkmoon. We'll see if DVS is going to join us as well.
He was just wrapping up his stream, so.
Okay, awesome. So we'll ask you guys a question as soon as he joins us. As Fryteeth continues to struggle a little bit here, that bottom seed having no life, and we have had Nuke, Kraken, Nuke, Cure for Chaos. DVS did a very good job getting through that, but Fryteeth has struggled.
All right, and we're getting the roost up for A4 here, and we're going to start tempering that Masa +3. And there's the poison damage. We still have a decent amount of HP. As long as we keep that HP totals over 400, we're protected against most things that could wipe us out in one round. As 225 comes out, that's pretty good damage. Another hit for 106, so kind of middling damage here for this Masa. We're going to start dumping some Tempers back in as Lightning 2s pour out of Tia 2 here. 4 hits, 312. We're a little bit better. Fire 3 knocks us underneath that nuke range. We don't know what the back end of Tiamat's spell list is. And we accidentally mismenu and show Tiamat the Masa, and Tia shows us her ink. It's gross. 184 and stop comes out. Ice 3, so we're just playing chip damage here, hoping that Tiamat doesn't break through our evasion with a big crit or anything. So Fire 2, no real scary spells here, but we're missing now. So with no lock access, we're going to switch it up to nukes, and little indecision here for Fryteeth, and that Masa's going backwards in damage. Always feels bad when that starts to happen. And now we've got to use a Cure 4 here. And we're going to wait a little bit, trying to mix up that RNG, and we miss, and Tia responds with nuclear. Oh, so Classic Gamer pointing out that slow 2 might have landed. I missed that. So that's going to definitely change the game here a little bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Fryteeth, who had nuke shirts on everyone, he rearranged his items because he wanted the more buff-heavy items on his knight, but in doing so actually removed his nuke shirt, which actually is his win condition at this point. So he's having to burn actual nukes, which are his Cure 4 charges, in order to try and get through this Tiamat, which is a little bit unfortunate. But there we go. He gets through. Big victory, level 26.
Yeah, and he does have 4 more Cure 4s, so not the end of the world, but this is not going to be an easy fight for him with that opening salvo that comes out from Tiamat. And here comes Chaos. You can take this one, Jet.
Yeah, so Chaos coming out, starting off with a swing, but gets the turn order ruse. That's actually huge. That could have been one additional hit for an extra 100 damage or so. You're going to be looking for Fryteeth to keep his health above 400 and cast Cure 4 whenever he goes beneath it. After getting 3 stacks of evades, goes for a test swing, realizes it's not going to work, and right into Tempers. Yeah, I think that's the play right now. Chaos, what you want to see is a continuation of swinging. When you have max evasion, which is 3 stacks of ruse, that's exactly what you're looking for. 3 stacks of Tempers should do it. I expect a test swing next turn. Oh, one more. So Temper, of course, buffing his fighter's damage, but not his ability to get more hits or his ability to hit that Chaos. Gets almost a max roll nuke, but remember, staying above 400 HP, but gets turn ordered. Wow, high roll nuke into turn order Blaze, and Fryteeth goes down. Absolutely brutal. That's been the story of Fryteeth's Topher, just getting the raw end of the deal there with turn order. But while he's rediving Topher, we can talk to our winners, Team D&D&D. GG's, Darkmoon and Davis. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
That was the adrenaline.
So what was it like in your voice chat? Because there's not much to talk about beyond key items. So what so like, what were you guys just like telling each other jokes, stories? What's going on? Cursing at each other for agreeing to do this ridiculous multi-world.
It was interesting. I know DVS will have his thoughts as well. A lot of what it was we don't have the same key items like out in the world where they're at, but because we have the shared ones, like we could still coordinate and be like, I found Dwarf early, I found Lufane early, I got the bottle early, there was Astos early I could go do. So as soon as any of those turn-ins came in, I could go and try and do them. I just didn't have the key items. But since we're on 2 different sets of quote-unquote logic, who know when those are going to turn up? And very likely they could have shown up earlier for Devious than for me, and back and forth. So, at least coordinating so we knew what was going on and trying to keep in mind for both of us what we'd found in the way of unlocks so that we could then go and unlock them after.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And yeah, it wasn't something that we were really thinking about on broadcast, but there is, still strategy involved in like the sharing of kind of locations that you found and who can check each location fastest. DVS kind of, outside of complaining about the new class that you've been having to teach, anything that you were sharing throughout the seed?
Take. New class I've had to take.
Oh, even worse.
Sorry, that completely threw off my train of thought. So the other thing about co-op is that, like, co-op strats still work. So, like, we were, like, our big thing was trying to figure out. I actually didn't hear your question, so I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. So when we were both trying to figure out where the canoe was, and so I did a save up by Melmond, went down to Crescent Lake, found out it was dwarves, got my item, waited for Dark Moon to get it, and then reset back to Melmond to save that backtracking. And there were a couple other times that we did that. Depending on how many espers were how many espers you got in that dungeon. So it was like it's interesting because you are using co-op strats on a single player seed, and the more fluid you get with, like, even like neither of us found the vendor item, but if we did, we would have save scummed that. Like,
I was saying that, when we had to spend 15 minutes going through all the things that are going on in this flag set before the CD even started, I often joke, DVS, that every flag that I dislike, you love, and every flag that you love, I dislike. So this was probably like, the perfect flag set for you. And you definitely showed it. You were the first in Topher by a decent amount. And you were the first to finish. You and Dead Pulse were very, very close. And I did believe that your Temple of Fiends Revisited was the more difficult one to get through, actually. And like Fry Teeth is really showing it there. Just like nukes left, right, and center, super high HP. And also just not the item magic that the top seed had. Like the top seed just had such good item magic and such good magic available. It made a huge difference.
Well, I mean, we did have the nuke level 1, and we had the Invis 2 bonks.
You did.
But like, I didn't have life. I don't know if Fry Teeth found Crescent Lake or Melman, but I didn't have any life casts. And so they each had their own differences. Like, barely surviving, there was like a nuclear from Kraken, and then having Chaos come out with first turn nuke that almost wiped me, and just luckily getting turn order. I mean, a lot of that comes down to RNG, but there's also the whole, like, hey, I cast Ruse and Viz 2 as my first turn, and Chaos happened to punch for a second turn, which the miss is what allowed me to get the Cure 4 off.
Yeah. And you were in earlier, too, which makes it different.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was diving early. I mean, I even thought about, like, hey, I could go to Crescent Lake, I could go somewhere else. I did my first dive just to get information, and so I found out that carry was worse than I thought, so that's why I went over, made sure I rezzed my red mage, did some extra prep, and luckily it worked the next time. But I told Darkmoon that I'm gonna take it slow, and I think I can take this, and luckily that's what happened. But I see Fry Teeth is on Chaos if you guys want to call that.
I was just about to turn over. So he, unfortunately, actually, no, you know what? That was showing his dominance to Chaos. He raised that massa high in the air, showing Chaos who's bot. and has gotten turn order on that nuke, and that was absolutely critical. Like honestly, he got terrible luck last time getting both like double dinged. He got nuked almost max roll and then got turn order blazed instead of a punch when he was at max evasion. This time, not the same case. He got his turn order twice in a row to get his Cure 4 off. Chaos going with the Cure 4. He's going with the nuke strats. That's going to be a little bit difficult here. The issue with the nuke strats here is I don't know if it will out damage the Cure 4. He's going to average about 150 to 200 damage per one, and I don't know how much health this Chaos had. I want to say it was on the lower end DVS, but I might be wrong. You were there swinging like 400 damage a turn for like 10 turns.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I wanted to say it was around 3,000, something like that. 3 or 4. Right now I'd be Cure 4ing. I'm very nervous about that 334. Just because if you're not careful and you're not tracking exactly how many spells he's gone through, I think he's doing it now. You don't want that nuke to swing back around on you.
Yeah. The reason Fryeteeth is going more aggressive, though, just in case you're wondering in the audience, is because he's worried about getting that Cure 4 coming back around as well. He's kind of on 2 clocks. He's on his own HP getting whittled away by that nuke, but he's also on Chaos casting Cure 4, which I believe is 1 or 2 spells away. It's either the next one. Yeah, I think it's after this lit too. And if this nuke doesn't work, he's going to have to get into Temper, I believe.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to go for a different strategy or hope that he gets like slightly more swings or something.
Yeah, like going with Temper strats for the first round, like the first round to the Cure 4, means he'll be dealing like 1,500 damage. But right now he's just still chipping away at the 15 to 300.
So like these nukes, it could work, but it's just not going to get there. I think he needs to go with Tempers here. But the problem for him is that he's with no locks and no fast. He's swinging once. A big difference for you, DVS, was that you got to Chaos, I believe, with your whole party up, right?
No, the Red Mage went down. No, okay. I only had 2. I had the Fighter and the Thief, which in turn was White Magic and Black Magic.
Okay, so you had access to fast critically.
Yep.
He's getting really good nuke rolls here. Every one of them has been over 250.
Okay, so that's what he needs.
There's a max roll there. Yeah, so he's getting really good nuke rolls here. And that's the first one that Chaos has resisted, so pretty good nukes from Fryeteeth here.
You
shouldn't have said anything, because now he's...
Yeah, you want Chaos to just keep swinging or cast skills. You don't want to see spells.
Well, unfortunately, he does have Blaze and, was it Blizzard as his skills?
Yeah, those are... We could soak those with the Cure Force that we have and the ribbon that we've got on. There's the nuke, so...
As DVS was saying, you could Cure 4 to go back up to 400, but he was also trying to race against the Cure 4, right? And that's why it's a little bit different here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna guess. No forfeit no official forfeit, but we'll see. He's going back. Fryeteeth.
That's dedication.
Trooping on. I think he just needs to get there with an additional party member up and then go fast Tempers, and he can get through that. He knows exactly what this Chaos has to offer. He just needs to get there with 2 party members up. I want to say that he's a touch lower level than you. Either that or he just has... Actually, no, he has above 400 HP on both of his characters that you had that survived. So I think he's actually okay. He just needs a little bit... that's a reset.
Yeah, I mean...
So I want... sorry, go.
No, go ahead. I've talked enough. You got it.
I was just going to point out that I actually think that in comparison to like the co-op tourney that we did this summer, this particular race that we did was a whole heck of a lot easier. Just because the fact that, we're actually, playing 2 different seeds, but that meant that we didn't have to try and keep track of where our shards were. We didn't have to take notes floor at, anything like that. I'm just like, okay, I'm diving here. Tell me when you get a key item, and I'm just going to see good spots to get some gear and stuff. And with the blursing as crazy high as it was, like, as soon as you got some pieces of gear, you're just like, all right, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Frankly, I over-prepared for the Topher because I thought we had an alt-final boss. So when I went in, he's like, oh, we just have a Chaos. I go, oh, well, I'm not under-leveled then. Okay.
Whoops. Yeah, whoops. Wrong button. Sorry. No. I wrote something and I was supposed to go somewhere else.
This flag set could have been very, very, very nasty. If there was no good level 1 magic, and there's no good item magic, it could have been like there was a huge amount of variance in this. But because there was just so many different things that would have to go wrong when there's so many things that could go right, it was very unlikely for that to occur. And both of you, I'd say, had a pretty, relatively smooth sailing ride throughout this seed.
Yeah, I mean, like you kind of mentioned that our two preferences of flags are pretty much opposites of each other, which is true. And like for me, I was kind of hoping for bad first round magic. I mean, if you've been keeping up with the Duck Derby, Dead Pulse and Fry Teeth are high at the top, and they're very, very good runners. And I know that my strength is in more of these types of difficult seeds, and that Dark Moon and I's combined experience is probably going to be what wins over mechanics. So the more hiccups and difficulties along the way, the higher the probability of us being able to come through on top.
Yeah, I did want to point out actually one big strategic difference and one strategic advantage that you had, DVS, is that Fry Teeth didn't actually check the Topher boxes. So he was a ribbon short, and that's why he kept on getting zapped down to a party member, So that actually is a big adjustment, picking up that third or second ribbon. So that's,
for me, it was the second.
Yeah, so it's probably his second as well. That's a big improvement for him, even in just surviving things like Lit 2.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't even have a nuke shirt. I mean, I found it in a box down there too.
He found them in shops.
Yeah,
you have to find towns to look in shops.
I know, right?
I think it was available in Canaria.
Oh, was it?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It was, wasn't it? Oh man, that would have been nice. I would have had that.
Co-op multi-world, you just stopped taking notes altogether.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had fun. We laughed. Told jokes.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
Yeah, that was part of what the co-op really benefited us for, and I think as DVS was pointing out, that experience that we have as well is, I mean, we were cracking jokes. Every once in a while, one of us would be cussing at the game, but keeping it lighthearted, in part because we didn't want to annoy our co-op partner, but also because our co-op partner was joking with us to keep us light. And when we weren't getting really bent out of shape, even when something bad happened, because you get used to it, you accept it.
Yeah, that is something that develops over time. Your ability to just take what the randomizer gives you.
On Fryteeth's side, this is looking pretty good right now. I think the only thing he needs to do is make sure that Ninja survives. So hopefully a Cure 4 will come out onto that Ninja. So that way, if Kraken does come out with something big, he survives with 2 characters. Because he's doing great damage right now. Okay, already got through. Up with 4 characters onto Tiamat. Now, Tiamat's no pushover, but this is by far his furthest run with this many characters up.
Did Fryteeth pick up Wall?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I pulled out a Wall. Like, I forgot to move my ribbon from my White Mage to my Fighter, and I cast Wall before Tia and Chaos, which is what kept me going. I think it was like it was low level.
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, level 4 on my seed had Fast. That would have been nice to find Elfland.
That is why Dead Pulse had a much easier time through your Temple of Fiends Revisited compared to you, Darkmoon.
Yeah. I'm betting it probably had to have been at like Waterfall, because I think it's the only place I didn't check.
So Fryteeth getting much better turn order here. Not only that, getting all of his mage spells off, just buffing up this fighter way faster, and he's going to be doing huge damage here. Yeah, he's at almost 1,000 damage a turn now, so he needs 1 more turn. Oh no, damage poison! Don't kill that ninja. Ugh. Okay, 3 party members though. That's still huge.
Okay, this is a co-op best time for me.
Nice.
So why not counter co-op?
That's after Wednesday.
I suggested that actually, and in all the discussion after I joined the team and we set up, you guys had this going, and I suggested the 3-on-3 with, I guess, what was Cake and Brak and is now like some other name. Teamwork for Dummies or something. I suggested counter co-op. I think that would be hilarious. Like, one of us play against one of them in co-op and so forth. That'd be great.
Yeah,
we're talking like Davis versus Dead Pulse and counter co-op, but on different seeds.
You can do some really messed up stuff.
We're gonna have 6 different seeds.
And then bingo.
I am not designing the layout for that, okay?
So Fryteeth has gotten his turn order that he needs, and this fighter is in much, much, much better shape here. having gotten off the critical fast, he needs turn order here, but it should be in okay shape. He just needs to make sure he gets that fighter back up to max HP here. Nice, perfect. Exactly the character that matters. To be honest, everyone else is just icing on the cake. As long as that fighter stays healthy, you could see that he can easily get through this chaos if that fighter could just do a little bit more damage with that Massa. And between the bonus of fast, maybe a lock, but just mostly tempers, this is going to be a much different looking chaos fight. Yeah, so Invis 2's basically out on the maximum. He has 3 characters being able to temper his knight. His fighter's just going to be swinging here, though. Oh, one more cast of Ruse. I guess he was not quite at maximum evasion. He may also be waiting for the Cure 4. Has the Cure 4 gone out yet?
No.
Okay, so he might just be waiting.
The wait, yeah. And it's not a bad play, because, I mean, once that comes out, we're just going to... That Moss is just going to just destroy chaos. And more tempers.
Test swing.
5 for 517, not as much as I would hope. So we're going to keep tempering and we're just going to start swinging now. And there's the Cure 4, so not bad. We only lost 500 damage, and there's 1,000, so to make up for it. Another swing here coming in. 5 hits, 775. We're about halfway through this chaos fight. So another temper comes out, and we're going to kick another temper down and just keep them piling into A4, and there's another 1,000. So one more hit ought to do it.
Swing coming out, and boom. And with that, we have Team Fade to Brak coming in second place with an official Final Fantasy Discord race spot time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 5 seconds. So GG's to Dead Pulse and Fryteeth, and we'll see if they want to join us for an interview here to discuss the seed that was plus the Topher that unfortunately wasn't for Fryteeth, just like...
They can blame you, Jet. You're the bottom seed.
That is true. I wasn't going to mention that, but you know, don't blame me. They just had to go to more entrances.
We mentioned it. We mentioned it. It was, but I'm just here to remind folks.
So one thing we didn't actually, I'm curious how they were thinking about it. We talked about our party comms for a good 5 to 10 minutes when these seeds were rolled.
We missed the we didn't know what the blessings or curses were, so because we missed it on the restream, and we're too busy talking about the setup of the race and the organization of like counter co-op, and then talking about Dwight's flags. Yeah, we didn't even get to. I didn't crack open the seed and look at what your bonuses and malices even were.
Well, because we had mixed random promotions as well, so it was an adventure. I'll put it in notes if you're curious.
Oh wait, I think I might have messed that up. Dead Pulse should be joining us shortly here. She's just waiting for an invite.
And
there he is.
I gotta admit, I was totally happy with my class's pre-promotion.
Yeah, no one promoted, but we're joined in chat by Fade to Brak, Dead Pulse, Fryteeth. GG, fellas. That was a tale of two seeds, man.
Oh, yeah. Good game, guys.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, GG's, guys.
And big shout out to you, Fryteeth. As the CEO and founder of the Center for Competitive Forfeiting, I'm always in awe and I'm inspired by runners that have the tenacity that you demonstrated tonight. I would have been done, but good on you for finishing it out, man. I know a lot of the folks in chat appreciated the tenacity there, so GG's, Fryteeth.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I told Dead Pulse as I went in that last time, I said, this is the last time. I said, I'm done after this one.
And that's always the one where you get through.
But I knew it was a matter of turn order on a couple of those fights.
Yeah, and like the first turns on a number of those were just devastating. I ended up getting turn order on that first dive, and I think that yeah, a lot of that has to play into it.
Yeah. I got one question for Fade to Brak. I'm gonna kick it to Jet for questions and stuff. So I asked Team D&D&D. So this is atypical. This is an atypical experience for co-op in that you're not sharing anything but key items. Your maps are different. Your fights are different. Your spells are different. So what was voice chat like for Fade to Brak? What were you guys talking about?
Not too much. I mean, when we found key items, we let each other know, but otherwise, pretty quiet.
Okay.
Stoic is how
Yes.
I like to put it.
Stoic, yeah. Fair.
I guess the only question I have is, looking at this, would you guys want to do more multi-world? Do you guys like the co-op general? Like how many different co-op races have you guys ran together at this point? And what was your experience with the multi-world compared to those? Maybe I'll pass it over to Deadpulse first.
This was our, I think, third match together.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I mean, multi-world is interesting. It's kind of fun. I felt like I didn't have a lot to do after I had completed it. So I just started talking about what my wife was going to be cooking me for the Super Bowl.
Ah, classic. Food talk and Final Fantasy Randomizer. Can you think of a more natural compliment?
Yeah, there's something charming about doing the multi-world. I guess I don't have a preference between the two of them.
Cool. Bright Teeth, anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, it was very different. A lot of fun, but very different to get used to.
Well, I think with that, we can probably get into our final thoughts here. Caleb, you got anything else you want to ask before we kick into that?
I've updated the Double Dragon rankings. With that win, Team D&D&D jumps up into second place where Fade to Brak was. So, depending on the outcome of the championship match between Thunderlot and Trash Island Treasure Hunting Unit, you guys could be looking at number one contender spot, but you guys put on your eager pants and already got a match scheduled for tomorrow. So that honor might very well fall to Teamwork is for Dummies. So
that does, of course, depend on whether or not the white is able to race tomorrow.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so GG's to the runners. Thanks so much for participating in the Double Dragon Co-op League that Danny and I are trying to get off the ground. So definitely appreciate you guys coming out and trying new things with co-op. It's always fun to see how folks can leverage this website and ways to play this game with each other. So appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, we will start wrapping things up here. So if you liked what you saw, come join us on our Discord. We are always friendly, looking for more people to come and join. Whether you want to speed game, play casually, play Double Dragon, anything, come and learn what we're all about here at Final Fantasy Randomizer. Coming up this week, tomorrow night, maybe, if you liked what you saw from Team D&D&D, and they are going to be your Double Dragon Championship team of choice. They are facing off against, well, my team actually, in the Team D&D&D versus Teamwork is for Dummies on Randomania tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday, we have our weekly SG race, which is an evolving flag set throughout January, run by Darkmoon. On Saturday, we have our weekly hardcore race. So if you like to see brand new flags, crazy things going on, come check that out. I don't know if it'll be rebroadcast, but at the very least, it will be on our Discord. And finally, on Sunday, we are taking over Randomania for the Randomania Tournament of Hope Chaos Rampage Tournament. So if you like fast, speedy flag sets, that is what you're going to be looking for. Caleb, any final words to, close things out here?
You nailed it, Jet. Thanks so much for doing commentary with me. It's always a pleasure. This is like our first time in the booth, I think, since spring tournament. So it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Shadow. Thank you, SpeedGaming. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.